Do you find yourself struggling to make any progress in your life, any forward momentum? Or maybe you find yourself constantly facing some sort of resistance, and as a result, you're feeling pretty discouraged. Well, in this video, we're going to talk about the importance of having self-compassion and overcoming resistance, which will also lead to more inner peace. I'm also going to provide some actionable steps that you can take immediately to cultivate self-compassion and move forward in your life in a very healthy and balanced way. Welcome to Define Resistance. My name is Francis. Here we explore different ways that we can overcome the resistance in our lives to unlock our fullest potential, because I believe once we do, we're able to live a life with more joy, peace, balance, and alignment. I think we're all pretty familiar of what self-compassion means, but let's sort of dig into this just a little bit. Really, self-compassion is the act of being kind and understanding to oneself, especially in times of challenges or any difficulties that you might be experiencing. It involves treating oneself with the same care and empathy that we would, give to a friend. So self-compassion allows us to acknowledge our struggles and maybe some setbacks without judgment or criticism. Instead, it provides a sense of support and comfort to help us navigate through challenging times. I had a client who had a really hard time visualizing what it meant to have compassion for herself. And so at the end of the video, I'm going to share with you how I sort of coached her through that process. So if this is something that is indeed difficult for you as well, I'll also leave some tips towards the end. So why is self-compassion so important when we're facing resistance? Resistance often comes in the form of fear, doubt, and self-criticism. We may feel stuck or unsure of ourselves, which can lead to feelings of shame or inadequacy. So as a result, we might find ourselves kind of like stuck at a crossroad in our lives, especially when we're ready to make some sort of decision. We might not know how to move forward. And I actually did a video about this, which I'll leave at the end of this video so that you can check it out. Self-compassion helps us to break through these negative thought patterns and shift our focus towards self-love and acceptance. When we approach resistance with self-compassion, we are more likely to feel inspired. We're more likely to build our resilience and feel empowered to overcome whatever life throws at us. With self-compassion, we can approach resistance with the sense of curiosity and openness instead of fear and avoidance. I'm sure y'all avoiding something, right? That's why we're here. It allows us to acknowledge our limitations and mistakes. I don't like mistakes, without harsh criticism. So let's talk about how we can cultivate self-compassion. Sometimes we find ourselves having a lot more compassion for other people than we do ourselves. Sometimes we treat our friends better than we treat ourselves. Sometimes we treat our children better than we treat ourselves. We have to switch that around. It's being able to be really incredibly kind and gentle with ourselves. Self-compassion is the idea that we're bringing in our feminine energy versus our masculine energy that says, come on, harder, go ahead, you can do it, push, push, push. It's just this gentleness, this softness that allows us to move through difficult times in our lives. So the first thing that you can do, which I'm sure you might be aware of, but it really is something that can be hard to practice. We got to recognize the negative self-talk and get rid of it. It's like a poison. Identify the negative thoughts that are holding you back and acknowledge them for what they are. Recognize them and allow yourself to feel your emotions without judgment, and then let them go. I always say the thoughts and emotions that brought you up here to this moment will not take you to the next stage of your life. So recognize those negative thoughts. Remember that they are not a reflection of your worth as a person. By talking to yourself in language that lifts you up, that supports you, right? That brings more lightness, energy into your life versus any kind of language that's going to restrict you and keep you feeling heavy. The next thing that you want to do is practice self-care. A lot of you aren't doing this. This is why you're getting burnt out on multiple fronts, whether it's your job, whether it's with your relationships. We have to practice self-care. You have to take care of your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual selves. And this could mean, getting enough sleep, nutrition, going for a walk in nature, spending time with people you love that really light you up, just engaging in activities that bring you joy, play. Take time to prioritize your needs and engage in activities that really, truly light you up. This is important because you must shift that heavy energy that has you rooted in your self-judgment. Because when you engage in light activities with lightness, it counterbalances that energy, introducing introducing more lightness into your body. The next thing you want to do is use positive self-talk and reframe what it means to fail. Replace negative talk with kind and supportive language, like I said earlier. But I had a client that every time she wanted to cultivate a morning ritual for herself, she said, I have to do this in the morning. How does that phrase feel? I have to do this. I have to push myself. Is that inspiring? I mean, that would not inspire me. It sounds like a drill sergeant, right? It actually creates more resistance. So find the language that moves with and not in opposition. Remember, y'all, failure does not exist. So today, if you're watching this video, we're going to let go of the word failure. Okay? From this day forward, we'll not use that stinking word. Failure and mistakes aren't real. Okay? This is programming. Remember in school? Failure. All of that is from childhood. It's been indoctrinated into our minds that failure is a real thing when it's not. There's only two things. We learn and we grow. We don't learn, we don't grow. Our souls are here to evolve, to grow, to expand, and to ascend. Rather than judging yourself harshly for what didn't go the way that you had hoped it to go, reframe them as opportunities of growth and learning. Approach your challenges with curiosity and a growth mindset. I did a video, which I'll leave at the end of this video, that will help you to better understand growth versus a fixed mindset and how you can inch your way towards embracing a more flexible growth mindset to elevate your life and move it forward. Next, we have practicing gratitude. Every morning when I wake up, I take a few deep breaths and I just kind of close my eyes and I say, thank you, God, for waking us up. Insert whatever works for you. Thank you, God, for this breath, this life. Thank you for the opportunity to try again. And I notice when I don't start my day in gratitude, my day kind of drags. So I have to go and find it again. I literally have to interrupt my day and shift towards gratitude. How do you cultivate more gratitude into your life? And I want you to begin to believe that at any given moment, you can shift your energy. Give yourself a moment for the dust to settle with whatever happened. Focus on the things in your life that you're thankful for. This might not resonate. It might feel pretty inauthentic. And that's okay. Okay. That's part of the process. You know, if you're new to this kind of practice, the frequency that you might be feeling is out of alignment. You might even say, this feels fake as hell. Okay. But I want you to keep doing it anyway. You can start with one or two things right before you get out of bed, even when you go to sleep at night, before you go to sleep. Sit in that feeling and then just grow it from there over time. And over time, you're going to begin to connect with that gratitude in such a beautiful, magical way. Remember, this isn't a sprint. This is your life. This is a marathon. Research has shown that self-compassion can lead to greater resilience, more inspiration, and improve your well-being. So self-compassion and meditation actually go hand in hand. And this is what we're going to get into is a mindfulness practice. Even gratitude is a mindfulness practice. This is the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment and non-judgmentally observing your thoughts and your feelings. By practicing mindfulness, you can become more aware of your resistance and self-judgment and learn to respond with self-compassion. The quiet stillness that we practice regularly leads to greater compassion for ourselves and others. The practice of mindfulness creates the space between ourselves and our thoughts and our feelings. If you want to learn how to be less emotionally reactive, this is a huge part of it. And it's through this process that we ultimately learn how to allow any negative conditioning to rise to the surface and pass the same way the sun rises and sets. The more that we practice mindfulness, it helps us to differentiate between that inner critic that loves to judge us and our true authentic voice that's really there to love and support us every step of the way. When my client and I deconstructed, so I'm getting to the story that I mentioned earlier, what it meant to give herself more self-compassion, she realized that it had everything to do with action. Self-compassion is love. And so she realized that love is a verb. So I asked her how she would show compassion to a child who maybe lost her favorite toy. She said, I would hug her and say that it was okay. And so we concluded that part of self-compassion is validating how you feel, because what you're feeling is indeed relevant and it deserves attention. Then hug up on yourself, love on yourself, speak kindly to yourself, then do something for yourself that will bring you joy. Take yourself on regular dates, preferably with nature, and prioritize your emotional well-being. So self-compassion is all about, if I were speaking to somebody, a good friend, how would I talk to them? So in the moment, if you find yourself spiraling in these really judgmental, harsh, critical thoughts, and you start to just sort of talk down to yourself, pause and say, would I say this to my own child? Would I say this to my best friend? Would I say this to my parents? Well, maybe, depending on who they are. Would I say this to another human being? And that will show you where and how you can pivot in the moment. Remember, when we approach resistance with self-compassion, we are better equipped to overcome obstacles and achieve everything that we've ever desired for our lives. So cultivating self-compassion is an ongoing practice, but with time and just dedication and lovely nurturing rituals, it can lead to a more fulfilling and empowered life. Thank you for watching this video on the importance of self-compassion in the face of resistance. Please subscribe to the channel. And of course, like and share it with somebody that you think might need to hear this message today. Comment below and let me know which one of these practices that you're going to begin to immediately adopt into your life. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the other side of wholeness. Take care.